VPN at technophilespodcast.com. I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast. All right, welcome back to episode 286. This is part 3. I'm here with V, Lobs, and Krista Lee. And girls, tonight we have already talked a little bit about Amazon releasing their new free engine, which is called Lumberyard. Mm-hmm. Then we also talked about a new device that might help football players with concussions. Do you remember what it was called, Krista Lee? I have now already forgotten.
So it doesn't look like they have a name for it.
Maybe we didn't
yet.
say it in part 1, yeah.
I don't think they do because this is a product still being tested.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
They're calling it the collar right now.
Cautiously
collar.
building hype.
It's the collar.
Yeah.
Cool. V, I cannot wait
I know.
to hear what's going on here.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So
let's talk about it.
So Google, as everybody knows, has been working really hard to get their self-driving cars like fine-tuned, get them perfect, get them working and street legal and everything.
Right.
But when you manufacture a vehicle for the roads, it has to meet certain standards. And there are approximately 0 standards addressing self-driving cars, surprisingly enough, that are put out by the DoT.
Right.
So just recently, the federal government and Google have been corresponding back and forth about Google's so we have this car.
I think Google doesn't want a drone situation, like an Amazon drone situation where they're like, we're ready. And all of a sudden it's like, nope.
No, we haven't figured out the legal.
And then once you trip that wire, then the legal stuff slows down even more.
Yeah, because then there's
I think they're trying to work with.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're working pretty well. But I'll get to that. So
they're like free Google cars for everyone. Okay, I'm sorry.
Bribes.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
I will take that.
So they've been talking to the Department of Transportation and also the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. It's a very good-looking abbreviation. It's not great. And they were like, so we have this car. It doesn't have a gas pedal. It doesn't have a brake pedal. It doesn't have a rear view mirror. Some
of them don't have steering wheels.
It doesn't have a steering wheel. It doesn't have a driver seat or a driver, for that matter. How do we classify this? Because when you look into the highway traffic and safety laws, it's the driver must apply pressure with a lot of it addresses the physical body,
right?
Looking into the rearview mirror, or traffic signals. When you're making a turn, it's usually talking about your arms, sticking them out the window if you don't have a light,
right?
Or
that you have to be able to do that.
Yeah, and or flipping the left or right turn signal, or using the steering wheel, or putting on pressure on the pedals. All of this stuff. When you remove that, you have 0 legislation. You can't you have no rules applying to self-driving cars. So Google has been talking about that and what their issues are with the Highway Safety Administration. And basically what they've been saying is you bring up a very good point. We're just going to start referring to the system as the driver.
Okay.
When we get all of these legislations and changes and whatever done to the law, we'll just refer to the driver as the system, because that's the best way to do that. Whatever it is, that's what it is. It's operating the car, and even if it doesn't have a physical body.
And all of the driving computation does happen local in the car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cloud and Hive for other things, GPS and whatever, but it's not like Siri or Google now, where it's taking input, sending it to a bigger database, and bringing it back. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it's staying local in the car, I think, does help drive that home a little.
Yeah.
Oh! That was an accident.
That was a good one. That was good.
A pun, Krista Lee. I made a little pun.
Yeah, a little joke. Little joke. Tickle that funny bone.
Sorry, I suddenly remembered, I was supposed to Google that thing during break and forgot. So I thought I would just do that while you guys were taking care of the show.
Sounds good.
It up.
Sorry.
Google that thing.
Yeah.
Google that thing. Yes, V.
So the question becomes how do you talk about the process of braking for a car that has no brake pedal.
Right.
You know, when it's a computer system.
You know, the first thing I think about is that we have car license, car classifications, truck classifications,
Yeah.
and like bike, motorbike, motorcycle classifications. Do we make a new one for the self-driving car, or are they trying to put it in with the first one?
It sounds like it's going to be just like a subcategory of human drivers
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
right.
Just what would you call it? Manual driving? Oh my gosh. I guess that's what you call it. I guess when you don't have an automatic driver.
Oh, right. Yeah,
It's manual driving.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stick or no stick. Yeah, like you'd be talking about going into like the processing of like inputs to have a braking happen. Like, how do traffic laws change and things like that? There's a lot of legalese in this thing. Just talking about like the rule governing braking is called FMVSS number 135.
Naturally.
It like, oh my gosh, it's so much. So it's a really good step forward.
The DOT has said, cool, that can be the driver.
They've said, cool. They're like,
system's
these cars are cool. You're doing a good job. This is our problem, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already got a
Figure it out
really
together.
progressive view of it, and they're actually trying to kind of hammer out some of these legal issues before the end of Obama's second term, because
Interesting.
God knows what's going to happen after that. So they're just trying to be like, okay, we have the guy in office that runs the Department of Transportation. Let's work with him as best we can because we have this really good
That's true.
relationship going.
That's true.
Let's hammer out these rules and get self-driving cars on the road as quick as we can and safely and legally.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I was Googling real quick that I was supposed to do during break is last year a self-driving car got pulled over.
That's what it was.
That's right. So what happened in this particular case was that there was a passenger in the car. And the cop explained to the passenger how going, I think it was like 9 miles under the speed limit, was impeding traffic, and therefore that is a ticketable offense.
Wow. 9 under.
Nine?
Yeah, because I think
Just
that they
9?
said they were going 24 in a 35 zone, and that was actually backing up traffic. And impeding traffic is apparently an offense. A ticketable
Well,
offense.
like on the interstate, if you're going 20 under, so it's like
Yeah.
45 minimum, 65 maximum. I mean, it's adjusted now, but that's the
Sure.
idea.
Sure.
If you're under 45 on the interstate, it's a ticketable offense.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
On
which
35
makes
then it's a
sense
little silly,
because
I don't know what the ratio is for smaller streets,
Yeah.
but apparently 9 under is enough.
35 is like a country road.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. And there aren't many passing lanes out in the country lanes.
So
that's a good
apparently,
point.
Yeah.
like, and they actually put the code in this article I'm looking at. They're like, a California vehicle code, blah, 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 whatever. Specifically said if you're impeding traffic. So I don't know if it
So driving car or no.
yeah,
Or self-driving car.
Well, it wasn't
Self-driving
about
car.
how far under. It wasn't about a percentage of how far
Did
under.
the cop write the ticket to?
So
Yeah, that's a good question.
it looks like he did not. What he did.
He got confused and was
He
like,
saw no driver in the passenger seat and he was
right.
like, "Woo!
Carry on.
A ghost!" And then he ran away.
Have a good day, sir. Have a
yeah.
good day, it.
Basically, no ticket was issued. The claim here was because there was no violation. That sounds pretty fishy to me because that conflicts with what the rest of the article says. The cop explained the violation in the code to the passenger and then determined to not write a ticket because there was no violation. I'm thinking the cop didn't want to deal with the paperwork.
Right.
Yeah.
And so decided.
The cop stepped up and went, oh, crap.
Ah, no.
Right.
Oh, this just got a whole lot more complicated.
It's just
You know,
got complicated.
or let's face it, like I've been pulled over before for something minor where technically I could have gotten a ticket, but the cop pulls me over and
Oh, you
says,
get like a warning or a...
right,
Yeah.
right, like okay, you realize that blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, okay, sorry,
Yeah.
they let you go. I mean, and because really going 9 under, going 24 in a 35 zone, if it was a human driver, probably wouldn't have gotten a ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, let's face
right.
it.
So yeah, that was
That's testing.
yeah.
But it wasn't a Google car that that person was in? Because the Google cars aren't really like... They're all over the place, but it's in a different.
It is Google self-driving
It
car.
was okay.
Wow.
Good to know.
This was, but
It's so cute.
in Mountain View, California. Like, is that near Google headquarters?
Google's like,
Oh.
well, in California.
It's
But
near.
that's
it's
very
probably
broad.
near enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a self-driving car. They just send it out. And
California.
Come back
It's
before
like
10.
that's like us going down to St. Louis if we. Like you're still in California. That's a similar distance, Like you can still be in California, be that far away.
Well, I have no idea where Google's headquarters is.
I think it's in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. So that was my actual question. I'm like, because it says.
Oh, I'm sorry.
when
Yeah,
it
I think
said-
it's down in the Bay.
Okay.
Honestly, not that far away from like Apple and Pixar and other stuff.
Okay.
I've done a lot of Google Earthing of the Bay. I stalk the company.
with its own software. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, no, I'm
That's
not.
true.
I'm not very familiar with
They
California.
have a very nice
city.
picnic area with red, yellow, and blue umbrellas in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
A
it's
bunch of
probably
benches.
big,
They've
huge
got
campus.
There's a
Red,
curvy
blue,
spot
and-
where they have meetings.
red, blue, and yellow gardens.
So yeah, okay, so yeah, the DOT said, "Cool, we're gonna work with you," and that maybe there it is.
Oh, Google's headquarters is in Mountain View.
Mountain View.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they
Uh-huh.
were
It's right there.
right there.
Right in town.
Oh,
Driving too slow.
driving too
Their
slow, Joe.
hometown. You should know better. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's it. So yeah,
That's
so
pretty
the
much
system. So legally now the system, at least in California, or is this national?
This is national. We're
Yeah.
talking about, like, they keep calling them the feds. So we're
The
talking
beginning
the
is
big
beginning.
guys.
The
Right.
beginning of
Yeah.
acknowledging the
Yeah.
software as some kind of entity that's
Yeah.
responsible for something is beginning.
Yeah,
Right.
like we're like passing the technological hurdles and we're getting into like the legal hurdles where it's
Right.
like, okay, we've got this, we did it. Now we just have to make it work with like the government and make sure they think it's okay.
Yeah.
So we don't have any issues putting more technology out there.
Right. I definitely think you're right. This is the beginning, not the end. There's a lot more.
Oh yeah.
To go
Oh,
through.
beginning of the beginning. I mean that in a very
Right.
positive way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome that like the Department of Transportation has such a positive attitude on it right now, where they're not scared of it. They've obviously been up
You
on
can't
it.
help but wonder if they're kind of reflecting off of like the whole FAA thing with the drones and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, 'cause that became such a
Maybe.
mess. That is such a
Yeah.
terrible mess right
Oh,
now.
but I'm sure like the FAA has so many other stresses that make them skeptical of everything else.
That's a very good
Sure.
point.
Yeah, DOT is just like, we've been driving cars forever. We got this figured out,
Yeah.
guys.
That's fair.
Come on.
That's a good point.
We welcome new ideas. We're so bored over here.
We're so bored over.
Yeah. Google sent us a letter and we threw a party.
Well, and
We
you
got
know
a cake and a pizza.
that
And a pizza.
that you can eat while driving because now you
Because
no longer
we
have to
self-driving
drive.
car. 'Cause
While you watch
Google
your
gave us
Netflix.
self-driving
Yes.
cars.
Yes. Oh, that sounds fantastic. um. So they probably did learn from the drones, and they probably also learned from some of the other mistakes car manufacturers have made. So for example, there was I don't remember what company it was, but there was this guy who owned an electric car, and he couldn't pass emissions because he didn't have a muffler to hook the machine up to.
That has been a long time ago. 'Cause they don't do
Yes.
emissions like that at all
Right.
anymore.
Yes, it was a long time ago, but I'm just saying, like, for like as a historical reference,
Right.
the DOT has in the past proven to be behind technology.
Oh, I see.
So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, electric car, not a self-driving car. Yeah, sure.
Yes, an
Oh,
electric
yeah,
car.
yeah, yeah.
Electric car. That could have been a long time ago.
It was. This was.
So I think we've been doing the computer plug-in thing for like 10 or 15 years at least, I think.
Something like
right?
that.
For emissions?
Yeah, this might have been something I heard about like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and like going with my dad to get the emissions test, and they put this huge
Yeah.
hose on the back of the car, and they put it on the wheels, and it like dries. Remember all
Yeah.
that?
I
So
remember
funny.
from as a kid, but I'm thinking they may have gotten rid of that by the time you and I would have had a car.
I think, mine was always just the plug. But anyway,
Because I don't remember it. But I do, real quick, I just want to throw in here.
Mm-hmm.
So on my wish list now for like when I grow up and have a real job
Mm-hmm.
is I want Tesla and Google to get together and make a self-driving
Electric car that can drive for 1,000 miles.
Yes.
I don't think they'll need to get together. I think they're both going to just create similar products. They're
Have
coming
their
at them
own.
from different angles a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think in the end, I think
they'll just make one amazing supercar baby.
Well, and see, that's what I'm thinking. If Tesla and Google came together and did a joint project, I'd be like, I want that car.
That's it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm sure, well, hey, the Tesla battery thing, maybe it's like Tesla batteries in the Google cars and Tesla still makes their own cars and all that. Mm-hmm. We can sit here and imagine a bunch of different scenarios, but I would honestly predict, based on what we've observed over the last 4 or 5 years, is that the truth is the Google car, Tesla, whatever version of some kind of Apple car that's being talked about, like all of those things, they're going to... Okay, remember when smartphones just really started? Mm-hmm. Real smartphones? There was a lot of different versions, a lot of different things that people thought were important. And kind of these days, the processors are about the same, the screens are about the same, the batteries are about the same, because we kind of found what we were looking for after 10 years.
A glorified iPod.
I think that the cars are going to go that direction too. Now, the only difference is people have a much more emotional connection to the style of their car that they own, so that might change things a little bit. But I also think that we're going to see a lot more of this kind of pseudo-minority report car hive driving stuff too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then we might see like a generation after us might care less about the style of the car because it's not their car. You know what I mean? It's just a car.
It's just,
They just pull up Uber and the thing pulls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The driverless Uber box comes over.
Imagine the legal nonsense they would have to go through when it becomes the hive of cars. That would be either bonkers or really easy.
Well, that's Google's strategy. Google
they just select all, like DoT goes in, select all, delete. Just let them do it.
So we just got to be cool about this.
Take it to Congress. Yeah.
We'll see. Google's plan. Tesla does. The one thing that is different right now is Tesla is much more interested in creating these very high-end cars that single people drive. Yeah. And Google's much more interested in creating the Hive thing. Mm-hmm. And we'll see where this all goes. Okay, let's get out of here. This is a great episode. Fun to talk about this stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of decent news stuff this week.
Yeah.
A lot of little headlines.
Tech World, you were on it.
Tech World was on it. All right. Let's see, V, if people want to tweet you about self-driving cars, they can do that where?
They can do that at bear_Annika.
Marvelous. Crystal Lee?
If they want to tweet me about Google Tesla babies, they can talk to me at GamerAnthro.
I wonder if at Elon Optimus has any thoughts about that.
Yeah.
You know what? I will check that as soon as we are done recording.
I bet he's already thinking about what color he's going to paint the wall.
I'm sure.
For the baby car room. Car garage. Baby garage.
We love it when people tweet the show at Technophiles Pod. They can find us on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher by searching Technophiles Podcast or go to our actual website, technophilespodcast.com. Let's see. That's it. I'll see you next week. I believe that Jake will be back with us. And then after that is our first live show for this season.
Woohoo!
We'll have Mark Tassman on as our guest. We'll be back at the UWM Digital Humanities Lab. What is it? It's February 24th, I think.
Correct.
In the Digital Humanities Lab at 6 p.m. Got all that, V?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about Elon Optimus.
Elon Optimus just painting walls.
Hey, Elon, what? Your baby, is it going to be a boy or a girl? It's a car.
It's a car.
It's electric.
I love it. All right, let's get out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody.